Hi, I'm Mike Bailey, Senior Vice President of Mestech Machinery. I want to say thank you to Joseph Lansdell, President of Poynter Sheet Metal, for having us in. We have a special guest today, Aidan Kavanagh from Kavanagh Industries out of Australia. I'm going to let those guys introduce themselves a little bit, tell the folks about you and what you do.
Yeah. Aidan, you start. You're the guest.
Aidan Kavanagh from Kavanagh Industries, Sydney, Australia. We're the largest duct manufacturer in Australia. We're coming over here to learn from the best in the world.
Oh, I don't know about that. Joseph Lansdell with Poynter Sheet Metal, Greenwood, Indiana. We're definitely not the largest, but we try to be the best. And based on the questions Aidan had for me out in the shop, we've got a long way to go. So we've got some work to do.
Yeah, today's podcast, I think, was something I thought about not too long ago. Both Aidan and Joseph have like minds, I would say, when it comes to their marketing, their construction process. They do things quite a bit the same, I think. But we've learned a lot today. We just walked the shop, and just listening to them talk about how the workflow goes through the shop, the processes, and things like that. But we want to get into a little further about the industry, where today's industry is in the U.S. and Australia. Let's start with you, Aidan. It's about the industry in Australia.
Yeah, we've been through a tough time since COVID, but things are looking up, and the data centre work, hospital work's really picking up. So we're probably more confident now than we've been in years. So
And the labor side of things?
Labour side's a bit of a shortage,
Sure.
especially on the site side. In the shop, it's okay because we've de-skilled a lot of the processes, but in the field, we still need the skilled guys.
Sure.
So we're really looking at how we can do more work in the factory, off-site prefabrication to speed up the field.
Joseph, about the U.S.?
So, very similar. Data centers are driving the market right now. A lot of healthcare, a lot of pharma. Pharma related to mostly the weight loss industry, weight loss drugs. It's crazy. Interesting, East-West Coast, pretty flat, has been relatively flat. Midwest, completely crazy. So we looked at our heat map today of our employees in the field and wanted to see where they all came from. We have 4 employees today working in Indiana from Miami, Florida.
Wow.
Right? And they're coming from all over. So labor shortages a little bit everywhere. Midwest has been stressed. Luckily, the coast had some capacity, and we have people traveling in.
Good. Aidan, what drives Aidan Kavanagh when it comes to this industry? What keeps him up at night? What keeps him thinking? What keeps him going?
Innovation.
Yes.
Innovation. I don't want to leave the industry without fixing a few of the problems, a few of the challenges. So I really want to work on making things better and de-skilling it and getting more people into the industry. We've put a lot of work into taking the muscle out of making ductwork. So now we've got a lot of ladies in there, young ladies and older ladies, doing really high quality, high productive work by changing the way we manufacture, using machinery to do the heavy lifting and using people's skills to do the detailed work. And we're finding that we can get a lot better labour if we can de-skill that process as much as possible. We still need our tradies for the trade work, but what can we get other people who are non-tradespeople to do productively?
How are we doing that in the U.S.? Because I know Angie and her program, Heavy Metal, as far as getting the labor and the younger people involved in the industry. How do you see that evolving, Joseph?
Well, we talked a little bit this morning. Recruitment's still within the company. The union does a good job of getting us help, but self-recruiting. So there's still a lot of friends of friends, family of family, all that kind of stuff, feeding the animals that we have. I want to go back to the question. It was interesting when you asked the question of what drives him.
Yes.
Innovation and complacency popped in mind. Complacency kind of coexists with innovation. You can't be complacent if you're innovative. And so my fear has always been complacent and having workers that are complacent. Yeah. So we're very similar in the thought pattern there.
Yeah, I think I've been here several times. I think one of the last times I was here, you said, Mike, that's your job. Your job is to continue to innovate because the labor shortage is the labor shortage. So I think Joseph had said to me, if I didn't do it, he would do it. And he didn't have time to do it. So I know innovation.
Stress causes innovation. So the stress is either financial stress or it's labour stress. So when you've got a labour stress, you think, what else can we automate?
Right.
If there's no stress,
then you don't do it.
The innovation has to be forced.
Yeah.
But the stress causes innovation.
Right. And the technology. Today's technology is different from 10 years ago or when you first started. Let's talk about that, Joseph, with you, because you started how long ago, and how did you start in this industry?
So I started in the trade. My father owned a shop and it failed. And the third shop I went to, so I went through the full trade. I went to school at night for college, did the apprenticeship at the same time. And by the time I was 29, I'd already seen 2 business failures. That kind of scared me, made me think maybe not stay in this trade. Now, the last 25 year plus has been incredible, very successful. Everything I hoped the first 12 years would have been, but I started right on the shop floor. I was more of a shop guy. I did work in the field for a year or two, but during my trade time, actually physically working with my hand, I was in the shop. And at that time, I heard a lot of people always using the word they while they were on the shop floor. If they would only do this, if they would only do that. And I promised myself that I'd empower, if I ever had a chance to be a leader, I'd empower the people that work for me to make some innovative ideas, suggestions. Not all suggestions are going to be used from the worker. Either my ideas don't always fly, right? But having people that want to make suggestions about making their workplace the best it can be is what I look for in people. So to answer your original question, I just started in the trade, worked my way through, and went from a lot of different steps, mostly operations related. For the last 20 years, it's been more sales related and organizational leadership related.
So I'd say those first 10, 12 years kind of molded you a little bit to where you are today. You never forgot that. So
I definitely started the process of doing the opposite of what fails.
yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you can learn a lot from observation, and I observed a lot of failure in my first 12 years. So I was like, well, that didn't work. Right. Don't do that, dummy.
Right.
Do the opposite.
Do it
So
once.
that's kind of what drove me for a while. Yeah.
How about you, Aidan? How did you start in the
Lessons
industry?
and warnings there.
Yeah, that's right.
How did you get started, and how long ago was it when you got started in this industry?
34 years
Wow.
in sheet metal. So I started in the field. My father had a business doing ducting, supply ducting and install ducting. So I started installing the ducting and then worked my way into the shop and said we need to modernise what we're doing, and the rest is history.
Right. Well, another segment of the industry I'm always fascinated with, and I really try to continue to educate myself on, is the software piece of it. Joseph, you have a set of software here that you developed at Poynter Sheet Metal that works for you, and I think it's quite fascinating, to be honest with you. How long did it take you to develop, and maybe talk about what that is?
Well, let's back up. I didn't develop anything.
Well, Poynter Sheet Metal.
I have smart people that do that. Right.
There you go. Sorry.
I will take credit for whiteboarding and saying, hey, we need this to solve this problem. This is what I'd like the output to be. I don't know how to build that. Can you do this?
Yes.
I have very smart people here that can do that. We've started building low-code apps to replace some things that we were doing pretty antiquated. Not disparaging anybody, but we had a shop superintendent here for 20 plus years that on Monday hand filled out the trucking report for Tuesday. These are our deliveries, and used highlighters. That's how we did our truck schedule. We're now 3 and 4 months in advance have our schedules for our job sites with trucks scheduled already. That's a low-code app we developed. We digitized that 20-year supervisor that retired. We digitized his workflow. So now when you write a job up or you write an order up, it doesn't just go into the shop. It goes to all the different people, from our VDC group to our project controls group to our scheduling to our purchasing, and it's workflowed. The throughput here has been crazy. The amount of volume we've done without adding overhead is incredible.
Yeah. So this is a paperless digital transformation.
It is.
Which is one of the biggest trends that we see in the U.S. Aidan, I know I visited you in 2014, I think it was 2014, and I think you were doing some said things just like that then. Just a quick story. I think I was at lunch with you, and you had stopped for a minute. You looked at your phone. You said, the shop is in the red here at 11 o'clock. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I'm monitoring the shop right now, and we're at lunch. So I know software is a big thing, or technology as far as that. Talk about how you view the world when it comes to that.
So we started, look, I've got a bit of a philosophy. Show me how you measure me, I'll show you how I perform. If you measure me consistently, I'll perform consistently. Measure me erratically, I'll perform erratically. So we just wanted to get the guys to know if they're winning or losing. So we thought of a football game. American football, soccer, whatever. What's the score?
Yeah.
So we made a simple scoreboard,
Yeah.
a tracking board. And then we thought for starters, we had a whiteboard up there. We just write the numbers down. We'd finish another batch. We'd manually write the numbers up. So it'd be 140, 200, 260. And we didn't know if we're winning or losing. We go, we were at 260, what time, how many guys? It's too hard. So we digitised it. And once we digitised it, we could simply make it colour-coded. So we have a number, and Eli could walk into the shop and have a look at the number and go, it's green,
Yeah.
it's red. And it's just that simple.
Okay.
So then we took another level. When we're into bonus, we have an employee share scheme in place. So when we get to above a set amount of profit, the employee share the profit 50-50 with the management. So then we go, right, we're in gold. So now we're in red, green or gold.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've got motivated employees looking at things. They understand if they're winning or losing the game.
Yeah.
We have the same color scheme. I can't believe how many things are similar. Never met the band before until last night. And then as we're talking, I'm like, yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do that. We have the same color codes.
Yeah.
We have all this stuff. We have 15 KPIs that are scored weekly that we share with the entire company.
Okay.
So everybody knows the score. I'm a big person about, you don't play football or soccer. You don't play without keeping score. Now soccer is 0, 1 to 0,
Yeah.
0 to 0. I don't understand all that. You don't
Yeah.
finish games that way. Sorry. But we keep score. You got to know who won.
Yeah.
And the employees need to know. They want to know.
Yeah, they want to
They
understand.
want to
Yeah,
know.
they do.
Sure.
They do.
Yeah. You know, I envisioned when I thought about this 6 months ago, and I approached you about it, because I thought you two did think alike. Didn't know if you did actually, but by a
Crazy amount of stuff that's synergistically
yes,
happening.
by seeing the
Because
LinkedIn.
I think it's evolution, really.
Yeah.
We're just evolved to the point where it's a natural process that you want to automate, you want to become better.
How does that help you with retention and actually employees and getting good qualified employees by having a platform like you just spoke about and having a shop that's clean, have equipment that works, things of that nature? How does that work for new hires and retention?
Yeah, so all employees, I mean, I think for years, maybe here in the States, trade workers were felt like, maybe, I know I did when I was a trades worker, I felt somewhat inferior, like maybe I was a different class. I felt that way personally.
Sure.
I'm not projecting on anybody by saying that. But they're people, and they want to have a nice place to work. They want to have respect, and they want to do a good job. At least those are the employees we want to stay here. So when you talk about retention, we want winners, and we want people that want to do a good job. So when you get like-minded people around like-minded people, winners around winners, you start winning. And it's how you build a team. It's how you build a team in sports or in a company. And then you have people that realize, hey, I'm empowered here. I can make suggestions without getting in trouble, and they're going to help move the ball forward as well down the field. So retention is not tough when you have a company that has that kind of culture.
Yeah. Aidan?
Yeah, the same. Look, we actually pay our guys for their ideas. The best suggestion, we pay them for it every month.
Right.
So look, we found that if you sort of know and teach the rules of business, track and keep the score, and give the guys a stake in the outcome, those three things make a big difference.
Sure.
So the guys have to know what makes us win. So a lot of people think running around the factory, banging hammers and tearing up shoe leather is making us money. It's not.
Right.
That's just wearing out shoes.
Right.
If you do a heat map of these guys and a spaghetti diagram, you'll find out they're running all over the place. So we get the guys down, look at the cameras and go, right, how can we minimise this amount of movement?
Yeah.
It's not about picking on people, it's about minimising the inefficiencies.
Here, you're helping.
So you either move the people, or you move the product, or you move the parts, or you move something. Something's got to give. You can't have guys running around wearing themselves out,
Right.
thinking they're making money, and then looking at the score and going, we're not. We only get paid to produce ductwork.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Yeah.
And manufacturer minded.
Yeah. And then once you do that, the employee retention it just looks after itself.
Sure.
But having said that, when you're coming into a shop like ours, or what I'm seeing here, there's an expectation of a work level and a work ethic which is quite high. So we find that people either make it or break it very early. They'll come in after one day, it's not for me, that's fine. But if they stay, they usually stay because they can see the style of operation.
It's
They
a
know
little.
they're gonna-
It's a little like our. We have a television show. Don't know if you've seen it, Survivor.
Yeah.
Kind of like Survivor. You kind of get voted off the island, and it's usually actually the teams voting you off the island.
Yeah.
They know pretty quick whether this person is going to stick, not stick. The person can feel it too. This is not for me. I'm going to get off the island.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit like that, honestly.
Yeah. I think.
And I think the employee bonus scheme, where you've got basically a profit share. I won't call it a bonus scheme, it's a profit share, a mathematical profit share. People don't want to share money with people who aren't pulling their own weight.
Sure.
So you do get this survivor type thing where the guys are actually saying, well, this guy's either got a gambling problem or he's got some major tummy problems because he's spending way too much time in the toilets. Go and check it out. And I'm going, hang on a sec, I'm not going to go and check out the cameras.
Yeah.
Come on. These guys are dobbing each other in, saying this bloke. They know they're not working.
Yeah.
So that's a completely different mentality from, don't worry about him, don't worry about him. I'm just making my money over here. We're now a team, and that team is winning or losing together via that scoreboard.
Well, I think it's an opportunity. I think, when I started 30 years ago and hit the road, I had $5 worth of quarters. I knew the map and the yellow pages, and I knew where every telephone booth in Georgia was. But my point to that, they gave me the tool belt to build the house.
Yeah.
It was up to me to want to build the house, right? And that's just how I look at it with all employees. You give them the opportunity, right? And that's all you can do. So, the last 5 to 10 years, I've been watching the emerging technology trends, things that have developed, and you guys have certainly taken advantage of them to the highest level. What do you see the next 5 to 10 years looking like?
I'll let you go first.
To me, it's more in digitisation. So I think the next level for us is a bit of gamification. I know it sounds a bit wanky, but gamification, meaning the guys, they're contributing, we're getting points for whatever they're doing. If they're attending, they're getting points. If we're doing pre-assembly, we can use augmented reality. How do we digitise and gamify what we're doing a bit more? And trying to get younger people into the industry. Because it's hard for blokes my age to write code. We don't know code.
Right.
There was no computer club when I was at school.
Right, me too.
So we have to get the younger people coming through and try to incentivise them to say there's a career here, but it's not scratching out patterns on a marking board. You're going to be scratching out a pattern in CAD, or you're going to be writing code for some of these applications that we're building or interfaces we're building. So for me, it's digitisation and better use of technology to make the industry easier.
Yeah, very similar. I think one thing a contractor should do is not lose sight on what we get paid to do, which is the output. It's the end of the day, whether you're in Australia or Indiana, is making ductwork, installing ductwork in the fewest steps possible. So anytime you can introduce any type of technology to enhance or improve or reduce those steps to get from flat sheet or coil to end product in air, fewest steps possible, that's where you get your ROI. So that's where I use technology. I think that's where it's going. I mean, I know the buzzword right now, especially in the States, is AI. Don't know what that means. I think, I've told everybody the thing that will stop AI from its full potential is man.
Right.
We do it on everything, right?
Right.
We were supposed to have flying cars by now.
Yep.
We're not there. We're not even adopting battery-powered cars right now very well. So we're going to stop this at some point. We'll drag it back, and it'll be fun for a while, and then people are going to say, "Wait a minute, let's stop doing this. Let's start doing this." I don't know. We're not going to be able to see that future, but if you go back to just that one thing, what are we paid to do, and tie technology to that, I think the contractor will be better off.
Yeah, we've started talking about AI in our company from a service level. Machine goes down, and you talk about B&R automation, which we use for our control works, and you have B&R automation in your shop. It will give you an error code, and it'll say error code 1068. Well, that AI, if you go back and you put those cases in over the last 3 or 4 years, will pick up that error code.
Yeah, this is the trend.
Yes, and it'll tell you versus having to call somebody, try these three things. So we're starting to develop an AI segment for the service side of these machines. We believe that remote self-diagnostics is huge. We should be able to tap into the machine from afar, see what the machine's doing, whether it be a laser with a chiller, see if the chiller is the right temperature, things of that nature, which helps you, helps us, because it's hard to find service people.
I think everything AI related is about margins. It's not margin in profit margin. That's not what I'm talking about. It's alpha. And that's where we're probably similar. Okay, shop A and shop B can make ductwork all day long. It's the high performing shop that's looking at the margins. How can I squeeze a little more alpha, a little more margin out of everything that we're doing? Maybe it's the flip side. How can we squeeze a few seconds out of the process, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. And I think that's what AI could start lending itself to. Again, I don't know where it's completely going.
None of us do.
But
if you look at that, for example, we've got AI cameras, and with those AI cameras, you can do a heat mapping of, which we used to call a spaghetti diagram, where you'd map out where the boys and girls are walking around the factory, and then say, how do we tighten that up? Now you can use AI with your cameras, so just show me the heat map for last week. And then it can actually just show you the main traffic areas and say, right, how do we reduce that? How do we thin that traffic down?
Yeah.
It's just a simple use of an AI, artificial intelligence, on a camera.
With the years of knowledge you have gained through this process of 30 years, if somebody was going to start a sheet metal shop up today, how would you advise them? Just to start the beginning, right? Not be a Poynter, not be a Kavanagh, but if you were going to start a sheet metal contracting and or fabrication business today, what would be some advice you would give them?
Well, I've written a small book of business. I'll
Okay.
give them that for starters, just a 30-page no bullshit business book.
Can I have that?
Yeah. The first line is, does your business justify its own existence? Do the
Yes.
mathematics stack up?
Sure.
A lot of people start businesses because they're entrepreneurial, but they haven't looked at the mathematics.
Yeah.
And if you're getting paid, I don't know how pounds, but if you're getting paid $40 a square metre to make ductwork, and it's going to cost you $38 a square metre to make the ductwork, you don't have a business.
Right.
So you've got to look at the overall mathematics of what you're servicing and how much it's going to cost you to service, and then just start small, try to find a niche, start small and just build it up slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of these businesses, well, is a much bigger business than mine, but we weren't built overnight.
No, I mean, you started somewhere.
We started with something, and then the customers, we listened to the customers' needs, and we end up, moving the businesses towards steel fabrication and pre-assembly and prefabrication,
Sure.
because of the customers' needs.
Yeah, so if I was talking to someone in the younger generation, is like, be a little more patient than probably your personality allows. I think the digital phones, I got one in my pocket here, right? I think that's lent the human condition to be very impatient. Want to skip steps, want to grow big. Yeah, you're exactly right. We're in our 25th year here at Poynter. When I walked in the door, we had 24 employees at the time. I didn't found Poynter. I was an employee at the start, and we had 24 employees. We peaked at 1,185.
Wow.
So, I mean, that doesn't happen overnight. You're going to make mistakes. Realize that. Learn from your mistakes. As I mentioned, I watched 12 years of failure. So you can learn from others' mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and continue to press forward is the biggest thing that you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you because you hosted today, and Aidan, you came all the way from Australia.
Oh,
I hope it was
thank you
worth
very
it.
much. Yeah, very good.
We got to see the AHR this week too, so I've been wanting to get here for a while. So thanks to both of you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.